Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the new episode. In this episode, we're gonna speak about inducement. Now, what is inducement? Inducement just means that you're gonna be trapping, for example, on EU, of course, you're gonna be trapping early buyers or early sellers. And what does this mean? I'll give a plain example. So let's say, for example, we want to have like a POI, right? So we had this right here. Actually, I think it should be today's POI. Let me see. Friday. No, it's Thursday. Okay, so it was right here, right? This actually happened in the server, as you guys can see. Um, around here. So what did we have? We had inducement, and how can I see that this was inducement? I'll just show you properly right here, because someone actually asked me that. As you guys can see, it's a full, so you guys can always take notes and do whatever you want. But yeah, as he said, he had this right. So what actually happened is he was trying to sell in a 4-hour point of interest, which is a valid zone. But what happened is, it failed to break that low. Actually, this is not a break of structure. This is just a liquidity sweep. You can see by the candles. As I speak about the candles, they have to like be a displacement, just like the displacement is the definition of this candle has to be like fast candles, right? Like these candles, these two candles are also good. So what did I say? This is probably inducement, meaning to trap early sellers or just trap anybody to make think that it's a good setup, right? And this was at what was 7:30 USA time, but I can plain show you um what is this? That's crazy. So it actually went all the way to 080, so that's about here, 080. And I said it's probably inducement, and then that's what news hit, and as you can see, price went up. So I'll show you inducement on the 1 minute chart just very easily. Let's go back and let's find a demand zone that a valid demand zone that did not hold or did hold. Yeah, we could take this one, I think. So what do we have? You have that break of structure. You have this demand zone right here. Right now you have the liquidity sweep, but the liquidity sweep is fine, but what would you spot as inducement is this low, right? And why is this inducement? Because this is also just trying to trust your own gut, meaning that price hasn't tapped into your demand zone, but you see like a bounce. This is like a 4 pip bounce, and this could be mentally frustrating, but essentially what price does is price forms more liquidity, and it's just trapping the early buyers because price has not satisfied me with being inside my demand zone, right? So let's say, for example, I had a zone like this is my buy setup. I'm trying to take profits at this high, right? Stops like this. Whenever this high breaks, I would have been break even anyway. So let's say you get stopped out, that's fine, but price, what does price do? It takes this low. Essentially, this was also inducement. Why? Because as we spoke about in the earlier episode, we had these three forms of liquidity being built. Price takes out that, price takes out those lows. You enter off the break of structure right here after that sweep, stops like this, and then take profit. You're aiming for a new high. I can't tell you guys this enough, but if you're aiming for a buy setup or a sell setup or whatever, you want to aim for new highs, right? And actually, where the fuck did that go? I don't know where that went, but let me try to go back. Hold on. See. So, well, you want to aim for new highs. So let's say, for example, it was right here, yeah. We're aiming for new highs. But I'll just take this high as an example. As you guys can see, very nice setup. What do you get? You get like a 1 to 4, 1 to 3.6, and if you aim for a new high, that would be the 1 to 10. So that's a nice setup. So essentially, inducement is just trapping early buyers as sellers. And where can we identify them? This inducement right there, because price didn't tap my POI yet, and this is just by trusting your POI zones. As you guys can see, simple breaks of structures and just move up, simple like that, and then just continuation. But as you guys can see, price moving up, forming liquidity, which we spoke about the last episode. Price fills that liquidity, comes back to my POI. Essentially, this is also inducement because price takes that one, Then you take a buy here, stops below these lows, TP either this or new highs, and I would probably target, I mean, this is fine in my opinion. And then what do you get? You get a 12862. So that is fine. So essentially inducement is just trapping early buyers and sellers. And let's take a few setups to just get you like kind of preheated into these setups. So let me see. Let's go to 1 minute. Let me show you some setups. Okay. So let's wait for Asia. Oh, there we go. We are in Asia session. So what did we have? Well, this is a rollover zone, so I can't tell if it's inducement, but we're waiting. What is this actually? It's actually dog shit. So let me just move a little bit. I mean, this is fine. I'll wait a little bit until London or some shit. We want price action to break this high in order to look for continuation buys, right? Because internal structure has to be bullish in order for us to get continuation buys. So yeah. Now what is all this? You know, we had this liquidity, possibly to get grabbed. There we go. We get the liquidity. We made that break of structure. We come back. Right now, let's see what happens. Very, very nice move up. So that's your first setup. Now let's see where we could find inducement, right? So what do we have here? This is our demand zone. Let's see if we get some inducement. So this is your first inducement. Early buyers, early sellers. I would not buy here myself. I would probably wait for maybe this zone. So let's say I'm doing this, right? And then I'm targeting that. I'm targeting probably this, right? But this is just not my zone, so I don't call that as a bounce. So I'll probably see those stop loss get taken as exactly. I got taken out as well, which is fine, but this just shows that, you know, I manage my risk properly by just seeing what inducement is. And they, you know, they caught those early buyers and sellers. They also caught me, which is an early buyer, because price respected that POI, but that's fine. We'll try to see more setups. And as we can see, price break structure very, very nicely. You're looking to buy from here. Let's say, for example, this is London Open, so good volume. Could see some fast setups. Another break of structure, another break of structure. So what do we have? What do we have? What do we have? Price comes back to my POI, and as you guys can see, this was inducement once again. Price did not come to your POI, so you did not take an entry. Simple as that. If you respect your POI and don't let your emotions get in the way, then you're gonna be very, very profitable. And let's say you're aiming for that. Very nice. 1 to 6.5 in about 10 minutes. London Open. Simple as that. Right? So now you take this zone once again. You're gonna look for continuation buys. And you want to take out the inducement, right? The fake bounces. And how do you know that? By just trusting your analysis and trusting your TA. This is inducement. This is liquidity being formed. I just know the price is gonna, it could make new highs, but I'd rather take my extreme zone, right? You always want to take the extreme POIs. So now we formed a lot of liquidity as we speak. Spot get taken. This liquidity low will also get taken. And then we come back to my POI. So let's see. Very, very nice tap into my POI as we expected. You could take a buy here or wait for confirmation. That's personal preference. Let's say, for example, we take a buy here. And let's say it as a TP. Let's see if it hits. So first of all, it doesn't hit, which is fine, but you manage your risk, right? How do you manage your risk? By just seeing that this was inducement, and even this was inducement. That low right there was inducement by just trapping out the early sellers and buyers. What did the price do? Sweep liquidity. You could have got in here, and I think I did on this live trade. Yeah, I took this live trade personally, and I think I was targeting, I don't know, I wasn't targeting that high, but, or I don't know if it was this one. Yeah, I think it was this one. I'm not quite sure though. No, it wasn't, because mine I take profit, of course. No, I'm trolling, but yeah, that's the whole concept about inducement, right? And you guys know I show my losses. Losses are normal in this trading game. Not everybody shows this, and this is also inducement in my opinion, if my zone is correct. So let's see. So sometimes it could go wrong, which is very, very normal. It could go wrong, meaning that price does not respect your extreme zone, which is normal. But the idea was correct, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the correct ideas and all that stuff. So that's nice. Now we have this zone. If price bounces, that's going to be inducement. Price bouncing, I know this is inducement. We got liquidity. So this fill would be very, very nice for me, right? For example, stops be like this, and then TP, I'm looking for new highs. As you guys know, we're always looking for new highs on EU, and then 10, probably like 10.3. So let's see what happens. Could also go wrong, but that's just part of trading. You get filled. So as you guys can see, that's the inducement right there. So this just shows, even if this is a stop loss, this just shows that I would have closed anyway because that's rollover, but this just shows that even if there's inducement, and even if I'm gonna take a stop, I'll take a less stop, so I take a less of risk because my entry is just better because I take the extreme and I take out the inducement, right? So you're not holding that long. I wouldn't, but let's say if the TP hits anyway. This doesn't really identify as a stop, but it's gonna stop you out anyway. But yeah, I would advise, if you're trading a prop firm, don't hold during rollover. If you're a day trader like me, if you're also we took all that liquidity, which is very nice. If you're a trader who trades the 1 minute, then it's not the ideal, right? So let's see. What do we see? We see that bounce. I think that's inducement. So I'm not buying it, right? And you would be better off just buying here than just there, right? So let's see what happens. But I think price could bounce here and could not. Yeah, see, exactly as I told you. So okay, you get stopped out, which I wouldn't take this limit if you know my strategy, but this just shows, by me knowing that this is inducement, early buyers, because price did not identify inside my zone, people are gonna buy here, and that's just extra liquidity for me just to wait to get grabbed, right? But then price comes back to the extreme POY. You could take an entry there. It also depends on your confirmation model, of course. Price could just go lower. It could all happen. I wouldn't take the straight myself though. So just saying. And yeah, it could run. It could do whatever. It doesn't really matter. It could even run 17 risk to reward. I wouldn't take it straight. Never in my life I would take it straight because there's no confirmation for me on the 1 minute. Just a 15-minute trade, right? So yeah, and as I'm telling you, we see this liquidity. Watch this liquidity get taken. Just watch. Exactly. 1 week. 1 week is all it needs. 1 week is all it needs. Simple as that. So yeah. I know it was a short video about inducement, but I hope it made sense. That's gonna be it, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace out.